let's bring in our brother right here, Eddie Gonzalez of Run It Back, and of
There
course
he
the
is.
etceteras. Eddie, what's up, baby?
Fellas, I'm happy to be here, man. I got a lot of atonement for the Kings to make, and just happy to see y'all, man. Y'all,
Yeah,
I see you guys smiling. I see
well,
it's
I mean, look,
a lot of
man. First of
teasing
all,
over there with the shades on, Katie.
first of all, it's so kind of Eddie to join us. After being on the hardwood, being at Foot. What is it? Foot Plant
Hey,
Arena.
I
Just
know you ain't
that's
talking,
just
man.
not
I
true.
see I
Foot
seen
Plant
y'all
Arena's
mingling
history.
with E40 and everybody else down there. I seen all y'all, man. I'm watching.
It's not. Hey, it's good out here right now, baby. It's good.
The sun is shining, my friend.
Well, what do you think about it, man? 2-0, game 3 tonight. No Draymond Green, obviously. That's a big part of it. Warriors back in San Francisco where they're 33-8. What are you thinking about tonight's game?
I mean, I said it on Twitter. Don't let this be an excuse, right? Don't let this be the story that the Kings got lucky and the league is against the Warriors and all this stuff. The Warriors lost two tough games, and the Kings look like the better team. I mean, even if they don't have I mean, it looked like they had the best player on the floor back to back nights, truth be told. But the Kings won those games fair and square. Draymond did step on Demonis Sabonis. You feel like he grabbed him. You feel like he didn't grab you. Whatever you think. Draymond did that. His reputation precedes him. He got suspended for his own acts. It's not like this was some crazy injustice. Even if you feel like he shouldn't have been suspended, whatever. If we want to be kind of negative, it's a big must-win game for them. You don't want to walk out of this game without a win, and I guess you can say the pressure's on the Kings, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's been on the Kings since game one. They're playing the reigning champs. They're the team who hasn't been to the playoffs in the longest drought in the league. Um, they're the young team, guys with no experience. It's been on them, so it's on them again tonight, and then they should be favored. But they feel the pressure, and honestly, they look like they're enjoying it. They're embracing that, and they're showing it on the court.
Eddie. I look at this thing and I'm trying not to look at it with purple glasses on or anything like that. But I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the Warriors and what they have, and it has nothing to do with their legacy. It has nothing to do with their place in history. This is one of the greatest runs and championship eras we've ever seen, dynasties we've ever seen, all this other stuff. But I just look at the first two games. I look at that roster and what they have available to them, and I just don't think they got enough. Like, I don't think they have enough this year. I use the example of, I'm looking at Clippers and Suns. I like the Clippers. I like Kawhi. I like Paul George. As a franchise, obviously I like KD, and I'm kind of grown to like Devin Booker a little bit more. But as a franchise, I like the Clippers more. I would like for them to win, but with no skin in the game, I'm like, they just don't have enough. And that's kind of what I'm feeling about this Warriors thing. Like, you can think whatever you want about the history. I'm looking right now. I don't think they got enough.
Well, the Warriors' history is funny, right? Because they're seen as this shooting team, and they are because they have the two best shooters of all time. But if you look at their rosters throughout the years, even with the KD Warriors, it's not like they were just loaded with snipers. They had guys at the top, and that changes everything, and that gets you open looks. I think that's an issue they've been dealing with these first two games. It's if we funnel the ball away from Steph, if we make Clay hit some tough shots, or even have to come off the ball, you're left with Andrew Wiggins, you're left with Gary Payton, you're left with Dante DiVincenzo, you're left with Jordan Poole, who's not played well, and you need those guys to make shots. They haven't as of yet. I think Andrew Wiggins has played great. I think actually in that fourth quarter, they started finding stuff with backdoor cuts with Wiggins and Gary Payton shifting down to the dunker rather than sitting in the corner, and they were getting a couple nice layups and dunks. I think that's something to look forward as they come back. But again, that was with Draymond and Draymond on the short roll after they trapped Steph. So, I want to give credit to the Kings though, because everything that played out in the regular season, and we've talked a few times and talked about it, their offense was the best offense in the league, and it still looks like it now against a really good Warriors team, a team who can defend, a team who can be active. But I think I wasn't expecting their activity and their focus on defense, and that's credit to the coach of the year, right? That's credit to the guys on that roster. We talked about their athleticism before, but if they're going to have activity, that can make up for athleticism. If they can chase Steph around and Clay around the way they have, I think the second halves of those fourth quarters where the Warriors kind of need threes and they get so three happy, And you watch the Kings just completely sell out and stay alive with them, run them off the line, make them take tough shots. They've made some. Credit to Clay and Steph. But their ability to do that, and if they continue to do that on the road, that's the series. That's where the series lies to me. And I think the Warriors have enough to win the series, but a 0-2 hole, and then you lose your best defender, you lose, one of your leaders. A 0-3 hole, I don't know if they got enough to get out of a 0-3 hole. So I think it's credit to the Kings. I mean, the Kings are doing this to them. People keep talking about the pace, and I think the Warriors have lost the pace battle. I thought they could keep up with that and run and shoot and be active in that way, and I don't think they have. I think it's one thing that I've noticed, and a friend of mine from Twitter, NMZ Hoops, he mentioned this too. The fact that the Kings will play so fast and kick the ball up so fast and go off missed shots the way they do, it also keeps the Warriors off the offensive glass a little bit. And that's where they make a lot of their bones. That's where Kevin Looney is so active. That's where somebody like Gary Payton or Dante DiVincenzo crashing from the corners is so active. But now they got to worry about those guys. They got to worry about De'Aaron Fox sprinting up the court. They got to worry about that. So they're not as active on the offensive glass. So everything trickles down. And, the offense hasn't surprised me, but the defense has, and in a good way. And it's got me wondering, like, what is the ceiling for this team now? Like, what are we looking at with this Kings team? And that's exciting.
A matchup with your Phoenix Suns. On KIFM, West Sacramento 98.5 FM, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320. Always live on the free Odyssey app, live on Twitch and YouTube as well. We welcome in our brother Eddie Gonzalez here. You're talking about defense right there. Can Steph be taken out of a game?
I don't think it's possible. I mean, even the way we're looking at, like, he's having to force these tough shots. He's having to get so many off-ball looks. He's still – what do you have, 29 the other night anyway? He's still, I joked on Twitter that, he'll shut down Golden One. He'll keep him quiet. And I got a lot of flack for that. But every time he hits a three, we all go,
yep, every time.
It's we
he did it in the first quarter on Monday. He hit a shot in the first quarter. It was like, I think it was like the first shot of the game. And we're like, yes. This is what we're doing.
And look, I'll be the butt of the joke because the crowd has proven me wrong, and not necessarily wrong. Like, I knew what that crowd was and what that city is, but yeah, every time he hits a three, if he hits one of those, he's running from the corner to the top of the key, and he looks like he's just that three hitting the corner over the backboard. Like, yes, the crowd did get quiet first, but how could you not gasp at that though? Like, that's absurd. So he's always dangerous. I don't know about shut him down, but you make it difficult. You trap him. You get the ball out of his hand. And again, credit to those guys. I knew they would start Kevin Huerter with him because it's like, we need the energy to keep up with him. And people laughed at that, but that matters. You don't want to give them space, and they've done a great job of that.
Yeah. Hey, Eddie, what you always think of De'Aaron Fox, man? Did you ever think that he could be this dude where in the playoffs he's going toe to toe with a guy like Steph Curry, looking unguardable in the fourth quarter? Did you always feel like even out of Kentucky he could be this, or is he kind of exceeding your expectations for him?
I'm not patting my own back here. If like, I delete my tweets all the time, but I wish we can go back because I've always been a De'Aaron Fox fan. And when they picked him over Halliburton, essentially, I thought it was the right choice. And all due credit to Tyrese and what he's doing out there. I thought it was the right choice. I thought getting him a running mate who he could work off of with Sabonis was a great choice. I think he's incredible. And this goes back to Kentucky. This goes back to the big matchup with Lonzo and dropping 39 in the tournament and all this stuff. He's a big-time guy. He's Clutch Player of the Year, the very first one ever. He'll always be able to say that. And he's deserving. And to me, it's, we're fulfilling the prophecy here. It's funny when you go back and look at that draft. He probably was slotted right at the time, but you got what you needed out of him. And it's all about situations. He was a franchise player. When you drafted him, you just needed a franchise around him. Now he has that, and we're seeing what he can be. And, people are calling BS on me when I say, he's always been this. He just has the platform now. But he has. Go back to high school. He was dominating high school. He was dominating college. He's incredible. He's unguardable. He's so quick, and he's the consummate if the jumper comes around guy. And it didn't need to be a three. It could be the mid-range. It could be what he does in crunch time. And he has such nice touch that this is what you got. There's nobody on that team that can guard him. They've tried everybody. They've tried everybody. They tried DiVincenzo to start, tried Peyton off the bench. They switched to Wiggins in the fourth quarter, switched to Wiggins in game two. It's had Draymond at points. Like, they've trapped them. They've dropped. They've showed. They've done everything. They've tried all the coverages. And it was sluggish in game two because Wiggins is a tough matchup. But when they needed him most in the fourth quarter, he came alive, and he's going to keep finding ways to do it because he's that great. I think he's great. I thought he was a deserving All-Star, came on this show and said he'd be an All-Star. So I'm running back. Said they deserve to have 2 All-Stars, and I'm happy he's getting his time to shine now, and he's stepping up for me. He's been big time since he was a kid, and we see it now.
And that's one of the great things about this series. It's one of the great things about it being the Kings versus the Warriors, because you kind of get that Warriors rub. You also get the 2 top offenses in the league. You get the league's desire to put exciting basketball in main spots on television, obviously opening everything up on Saturday night. Now you got a couple of TNT games. You got the Lakers Sunday slot coming up this weekend. All of that is introducing De'Aaron Fox to a bunch of people who cover the sport who have never watched him before. And all of a sudden, it's like, it's Stephen A's reaction will never not be incredible to me. It was like, oh, my God. This is the most amazing brother I've ever seen. Like that. We've seen it with Ja. We've seen it with Luka. We saw it with Jamal Murray. We see it with all of these players who Donovan Mitchell, who, kind of extend their status once they get to the playoffs. And through 2 games, Eddie, we've seen it with De'Aaron Fox.
And I think those are the names you got to mention them with: Ja Morant, Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, all-stars, mid-20s, guys who, a couple of them went to small markets, made it work, made it shake. I talked to Kevin on the show. It was about Mitchell, and it was a little bit about De'Aaron as well. It's like there's just something to a guy kind of thugging it out, getting it out the mud, going to a small market team, building from there. And that's what you do when you're a top 5 pick, right? You're going to be on a bad team. You're going to have to wait it out. You're going to have to put trust in a franchise that you might not be sure if you're going to get, that we're going to get a roster around me at some point. But when you learn and you get those reps and you're the number 1 guy from the day you're drafted, that matters now. And now we're seeing him on the biggest stage he's ever been on, and he's shining. And like you said, he's getting that Warriors rub, and he deserves it. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the city. Like, I know I got a text from my dad earlier. It was like, yo, are you a Kings fan? Like, look, man, I'm enjoying good basketball. You know what I mean? How could enjoying the Kings not be in my blood? But I'm happy for De'Aaron. I know it was shaky. I know some people wanted him out. Some people wanted Tyrese to stay. Some people, when he signed with Klutz, wondered if he was on the way out. But if you look at De'Aaron, he settled into the city. He's built a family there. He got married there. Like, he's done a lot in that town. And now it's his. Now it's his, and there's no looking back.
10 seconds. The Kings win this series. Do they finish off the job? Yes.
Yeah. I think tonight they win too.
Take as long as you want with this question. If it's the Kings versus the Suns, who are you rooting for?
Hey, man, you got a commercial break on the way? Is that what's going on? Like, hey, I just hope I can be there and see the show, man. I need to get back home. Pops is asking me if I'm going to my little brother's graduation, and then if I'm looking at the calendar right, conference finals into May. That's usually when graduation is. So let's make it happen, fellas. I'd love to come see the guys. I see you on courtside. Y'all know security there, right? You can get me down. I can come check out. Come say hi to everybody.
Yeah, security gonna be Damian, KC. Please move out of Eddie's way.
He gonna get that Shams treatment as soon as Vivek sees him. He's just gonna get that big open arm hug.
I see y'all down there with the Brody Shams. Hey, I wanted to go to game 1 so bad. I'm like, man, I don't know who to call. I should have called you guys, apparently.
You don't know who to call.
Bro, game 1 was a madhouse. I ain't never seen the city like this in my life, bro.
Yeah, game 1 was crazy.
I went to some early 2000s games, and y'all know Arco, and I always have love in my heart for Arco. It was literally a warehouse that they had a basketball court in. Yeah. I never seen nothing like that until about a week ago. That was crazy out there. I love Doris Burke with my whole heart. I didn't hear a word she said in that game. And that's credit to the Kings. That's credit to 916, credit to Sacramento. And I mean, hopefully I'll have to see it again for another week. But if there's a game 5, I'm excited to see what they come with that time.
Yeah, they got business to take care of before we start talking about anything else, man. We're proud of you. Love watching your work, man. We appreciate you always carving out some time to hang out with us.
Always happy to come on here, man. I see y'all, man. I'm excited for y'all. I'm excited for you too, man.
That's love, baby.
We appreciate you. Thanks, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Man, Eddie Gonzalez.